year 2018 will be reckoned amongst the most significant years in the calendar of SAPO's history. The year started on a high with much lower feed costs than in 2017 and high carcass prices that were driven by a strong demand. On Sunday, the 4th of March 2018, the Minister of Health's remark, "Avoid all ready-to-eat meats," crushed not only the carcass prices to a 5-year low, but the industry lost nearly 10% of their slaughtering capacity. The entire pork value chain was gripped in a frenzy that was fueled by wicked media reports, and customers reacted out of fear. However, this moment of darkness could not overpower the courage, bravery and positive attitude of the South African pork industry. As we look back, we acknowledge the great losses suffered by the entire value chain, but we are also grateful for the lessons we learned and the remarkable recovery of the industry. A great thanks to each and everyone who played a significant role to transform the year 2018's moment of darkness into one of the most amazing years ever. SAPO's valuable strategic planning session with the well-known strategist Chantel Ilbery led to Pork 2025, Thinking the Future. The current industry context, the various value chain players, and the rules of the game were analyzed to create future scenarios for the industry. Fragmentation versus integration and stagnation versus growth formed the axis on which the 4 scenarios were created. The pulled pork scenario indicated growth, but in a very fragmented way, in which only a few players will benefit. The pork chopped scenario represented fragmentation that will lead to a stagnant industry, with retailers as the price setters. The big pork scenario specified the integration of only a few big players that will lead to industry growth. The sowing scenario represented an integrated and inclusive value chain based on a healthy, strong and growing industry. The sowing scenario, with integration and growth as the main drivers, formed the center of SAPO's business strategy for the years to come. Our vision is to increase the consumption of South African pork. Our mission is to serve the pig industry by providing clarity and direction to navigate towards a sustainable and profitable future. We have identified the following core business values, which forms the heart of our strategy and are the roots of our business culture. First one, integrity, adhere to strong, honest and moral principles. The second one, respect, admire people and something of value. The third one, excellence, the quality of being outstanding. The fourth one, innovative, original and creative thinking. Our business strategy is driven by 4 strategic objectives, namely growth, business development, roles and relationships, as well as risk and compliance. With industry growth as our first strategic objective, we focus on the following 6 focus initiatives to indicate our progress and to support growth in the industry. To facilitate growth in our industry, we need to focus on consumption to increase the per capita usage of pork in South Africa. We need to have an integrated approach to grow the entire value chain. We need to differentiate ourselves as protein suppliers. We need to look at markets, new local and export opportunities. We need to stay the consumer's choice for safe, affordable, versatile and healthy meat. And lastly, we need to look at capital for new funding models to fund growth in the industry. SAPO's business development objective aims to create a balance between large and small pork producers in South Africa. 4 initiatives drive the objective by assisting producers, building capacity and creating an environment for the greater industry to develop. We focus on 4 initiatives that will drive SAPO's business development. The first one is efficiencies through industry benchmarking. The second one is education, where we transfer knowledge and develop skills. Then we focus on the conversion of small-scale farming to commercial production. And lastly, SAPO acts as a service provider, where we do mentorship programs, veterinarian assistance, EIA studies, business plan development, project management, and financial training. With roles and responsibilities as SAPO's third strategic objective, we need to understand and define our position in the South African protein industry. SAPO needs to take a leading role to engage with stakeholders and to create an environment to enable industry role players to be successful. To support the objective, we focus on 4 key performance areas. SAPO is dedicated to create a platform that will be an open system for the greater agricultural commerce to interact. The world of pork will create and enable a digital environment for the pork industry. We need to take up our leadership role to initiate and create value through interaction and stakeholder engagement. Enabling services, support operations, and creating a partnership with government is one of the most important key performance areas. The last objective focuses on risk and compliance. We take up the responsibility to ensure that the national pig population is healthy. The most important lesson we learned from the Listeria outbreak in 2018 was that food safety, and specifically meat safety, is not negotiable. Food safety and traceability are therefore core focus areas to ensure success in the pig industry. We need to take 5 initiatives into consideration to support risk and compliance. The first is the health status that needs to be on a global standard, biosecurity that needs to be a national program for small and large-scale farmers, food safety as a farm assured program, traceability from farm to fork, and lastly, international protocols and standards for the industry.